up, brother?
Hey, how's it going?
Nice, nice. Well, we got you in, so that's what matters.
Yeah.
Took a second.
Yeah.
Instagram was not being kind to us, so.
Most of my apps are obsolete, like 3 or 4 versions behind. So.
Well, I mean, you did write Social Robots, so that's only you being authentic to your art, I think, and I can't blame you, even if it was a couple minutes of inconvenience. So, but yeah, man, I'm glad we're getting together to do this. For everybody watching who's not familiar with who Johnny is, Johnny's an incredible musician, songwriter who I've been blessed to know for many years now. Johnny, you and I, we met at Columbia College in Chicago. So if anybody is watching and is currently or was a Columbia student, say something in the comments. That'd be really sweet. Yeah, and I just want to say first off, right off the bat, I really love the song. I've listened to it about 1 million times already. I really can't get enough of it. Like I said, Johnny, you know, I've been blessed to know you for a long time, and this is the first release that you've actually put out. So myself, I've been waiting for it for a long time. And I think the first question I kind of want to ask you about it is, why was Social Robots the song that you wrote where you had that aha moment where you decided, this is where I want to start, this is my debut single, you know?
Yeah, I don't really think I had an aha moment with this song ever.
Okay.
I wasn't actually planning on ever releasing this song.
Interesting.
I wrote it for a therapeutic session for myself in order to make sense of some situations that were happening at the time. And after 3 years of sitting on it, I decided to actually do something with it.
Right.
That was encouraged a lot by the events from last year in our country. And I just said, screw it, it's time. And
Yeah.
I think what made me choose this song to release first was that I think a lot of people are feeling exactly how I'm feeling.
Right.
Burnt out, very upset, not just with media, but just everything in general.
Right. It's a challenging time. And I think one of the reasons I wanted to get into your almost reasoning behind the song was because it feels like such a bold move, you know? The song is like a powerful statement piece. It's not just like, well, it has a great melody and it has a great structure, and the soundscape and everything is amazing, you know, but at the heart of it all is really the statement. So I guess that kind of like took me aback. I was surprised that you were very brave in releasing it, I think, and because you're talking to yourself in the song, obviously, but you're talking to the listener too. So as the listener, you hear it and it kind of makes you go, ouch, you know, like it kind of hit me deep, you know. So I really commend you for having the courage to put your artistic message out there, you know. And I think a lot of people are feeling kind of burnt out right now, and especially after all this time of us all staying inside a little bit more and having less of the real physical and spiritual connections with each other that we're all missing out on right now, you know.
Yeah, that's something I've been also trying to use this song to do, is to connect with people, and particularly those who have been following me the last year and a half, 2 years. Most of my followers know that I post a lot of little 1-minute snippets of things going on here and there, and I don't do anything else with them, or so they know.
Okay, interesting.
But I think that was one of the biggest driving factors why I wanted to get this song out there as well, is because I wanted to have an excuse to connect with people I might not normally connect with, and this is a great opportunity to extend an invitation to some sort of discourse.
Yeah, I think it is. It's weird how the song, like I said, it kind of feels like it's calling me out when I listen to it. So in a way, it's like a little bit accusatory. You know, the first time I hear you say, "You sad motherfucker," I was like, I am, you know. But there's this unity when the song finally comes to a close and you say it again, that we're all sad motherfuckers. And it's like, it's true. And it really, obviously, I think about a lot of this stuff too. So this was already on my mind, but it was helpful for me to hear this song and have that same cathartic experience that I think you had writing it, you know? And another thing I'm curious about too is the creation process of the song. So I noticed that I think Charlie played guitar on it, right?
Yeah. So one of our, really good friends, and I work really closely with Charlie on a lot of different things.
Okay.
But Charlie Petralia is his name, everybody. Charlie Petralia.
Shout out, Charlie.
And he added the guitar, and then our other friend Dale Guernsey added bass. Both of them are incredibly talented musicians, and we actually have a group together that's been put on pause because of the pandemic and just extraneous circumstances that have brought the three of us apart. But we are making moves to reunite and get the same location and conquer the music world.
Yeah, I see it happening. And Dale's a great guy too. I look forward to meeting him in person someday. And he certainly played really well on the recording. Now, when you wrote the song, did you already have it in mind that those two guys were going to be the ones that were going to play on it? Or were you originally thinking you might do all the instrumentation?
When I first wrote, any song that I first write, I'm not thinking too heavily about other instruments.
Right.
I mainly write everything on piano.
Okay.
Even if I change to like a different keyboard sound, like a Wurlitzer or some other sort of synth, it always starts on piano. And I think
Tony waves back.
I think the most shocking thing to me is how easily it all came together when the right people and the right energy was surrounding it. I didn't even know when I wrote the song.
Okay.
I knew Charlie. I had known Charlie for about a year at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And it never occurred to me to have him play guitar on it because I didn't know what I wanted out of the song. Like I said, I originally wrote this just as a sort of therapy session for me to sort of make sense of what was going on in the world 2 years ago in 2018.
Right.
I guess almost 3 years ago now.
It is, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, man. And I remember a little while back you had talked to me about potentially doing some artwork for it. We had discussed some stuff because a lot of people don't know that I'm a visual artist as well. But I have a specific style. I'm not very good at like honing in on a specific design, so I never ended up doing that artwork for you. Can you tell me about who did do the artwork for it and what to you that added to the process? Were you communicating with the artist and going back and forth? Was there any drafts of the artwork? Because I think that when I saw the album cover, it brought this depth to it emotionally, you know, this cool interpretation of you with the phone out in nature. It's a cool piece. And it like, when I'm staring at that imagery and listening to the song over and over again, because I have genuinely, brother, it brings me into the world of the song and it brings the earthiness to it. Like, so tell me about that, you know?
Yeah, so first and foremost, the artist's name is Addie Schuler.
Okay.
High school together in Wabash, Indiana.
Nice.
Now lives in Denver, Colorado, and she's killing it out there.
Yeah.
I've had her create a number of works for me, just in general. Always 110% above and beyond. She was one of the most encouraging forces behind this song, I think. When we first started, bouncing ideas back and forth and starting this journey, I think it was around last May 2020. She was one of the biggest forces that encouraged me to actually put it out there because I was nervous about it and I was very anxious about the message and how people would react. That's why it took some time to put it out there, because I was really meditating and trying to surround the song with the right type of energy to release it. I didn't want to release it in an angry way. I didn't want to have hostility surrounding it. I wanted a lot of love and a lot of encouragement that this is an opportunity for us all to grow.
Yes. Yeah. And so working with Addie, she helped you bring that energy to it because of the way she was responding to the music, is what you're saying, right?
Responding to the music and also just responding to the message in general.
Right.
And she was so easy to work with as well, because I obviously had my ideas about what I wanted, and some of them were very specific.
Yeah.
That causes some rework to be done and new drafts to be made. But she was very willing to do that. And I can't thank her enough, and I can't wait to see what else she creates for the world.
Right.
Or selfishly, I can't wait to see what we create together in the future.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. And so I guess I'm thinking too is like, you've started off with this kind of bold statement, and I think the song's bold in a few ways because it's also bold in your vocal delivery. You kind of use this huge range of vocal textures in the song. Obviously in the beginning with that kind of spoken word piece, it's pitch shifted, it's very dark and ambient. When I first listened to it, it made me feel uncomfortable because the phone rings once and then it just stops. And I checked my phone. I was like, did the song stop? I was like, is something wrong? So anyway, you go into the song and there's so much emotion in it and you don't hold anything back, So I'm wondering where you're going to go from here. Like, is there a vision for a message that follows this? Is that something you're ready to talk about? Obviously, you're writing all the time, so you've got some idea,
Of course, there's a message and a vision.
Right. How could there not be?
I think anybody who knows me knows that there's a much deeper message behind this song, for some other things coming up later this year.
Okay.
I don't want to talk too much about it.
Yeah. We got to save the hype, man. We got to save the hype. But it's exciting to know that can you at least say if there's anything concrete? I wanted to know if there's a next song. You don't have to say anything about the song if you don't want to, but is there a song that you have complete already that you have in mind for your next release, at least writing wise?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I won't squeeze you on that too much.
I will say I've met with my team individually. I guess it's a team. Team meaning Addie and the producer Brett Grant.
Okay.
Columbia. I've been in communication with them within the last week. The demo has been sent to Brett.
Nice.
Ideas for the cover art have been sent to Addie, so it is coming.
I love that. I'm really excited. And I'm really proud of you, man. I'm really proud of you because it's like I've just been waiting to hear more and more of your songwriting for a long time. And there was a lot of songs that we worked on together when I was going to be in your backing band. Back in the Columbia days, Charlie was playing in it. Brennan on the drums.
Yeah.
And we did some pretty cool tunes, man. So, just throwing it out there, we got to bring some of that to light, I think, And, if Sleepwalkers ever comes to fruition, man, you know who to call. So
I think Sleepwalkers is an album the world is ready for.
Yeah. I'm ready for it. Shit.
I've been ready for it since we started writing that in your apartment.
Yeah.
In that tiny, tiny living room.
Oh, yeah. Dude, what a vibe. What a vibe. And I'm curious, too, to know...
Keyboard, too.
What'd you say?
The little janky keyboard, too, was the best part about that.
Oh, yeah. Was it the Yamaha? Or... Yeah. Those are classic, dude. Everybody's got to have a Yamaha keyboard at one point in their key playing journey.
Yeah.
And... actually, you played that keyboard when you did the I MUA show live with me in, where we played in Akron, I think, or something like that.
That whole experience is just something that sticks with me so much throughout as the years pass.
Yes, yes.
It really helps keep me grounded, just the wackiness that came from that.
Well, no rehearsals until the day before, like just Owen hadn't even heard these songs and we just were throwing it at him. And I mean, that was the first No I MUA show that I ever did. So first show with vocals and stuff like that. And you were the first guy that was bouncing some of those songs off of and stuff like that. So I got to credit you for being there for me when I was at the early stages of releasing and writing complete songs and stuff like that. And, because we're talking about performance, I'm wondering for you, now that things are slowly starting to normalize, people are getting vaccinated, we're hoping that a world is going to come back. I'm wondering what a live band for you might look like, who, not even necessarily who you're thinking of, but what the band might look like as far as size and instrumentation and stuff like that. Like, have you thought about that much?
I've started giving it some thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard thing to try and nail down without much needed information.
Right, I understand. Yeah.
And as I mentioned earlier, Dale and Charlie and I are planning to move in together somewhere.
Okay.
So that is the first step. We're trying to get in one location first,
Right.
but most likely a live band of my stuff probably isn't a huge priority at the moment.
Okay, it's more studio focused then. You're more worried about writing these songs, almost like the Beatles. Like you're focusing on these studio pieces to get the message out, right? And live performance might be something that's down the road, maybe following a more complete release, like an album or something, right?
Right. I
Right.
would say though that Charlie, Dale, and I have talked about because they also write their own individual stuff as well as our collective music.
Right.
And we've talked about playing our individual stuff as our own band,
Right.
but not making those songs from our band, if that makes sense.
Right. I understand. You guys would play each other's backing band in different situations to fit the role, which would be really cool, actually. I think that's a unique collaboration and could be really neat. And it's almost like in the 70s, Bob Weir actually recorded a solo album, but the Grateful Dead was his backing band. So,
Right.
I mean, not to always bring it back to the Grateful Dead, but I have to throw in at least one mention every conversation. But yeah, so, and then with the future recordings, are you interested in mixing it up and doing a variety of different players on different songs and just experimenting and stuff like that? Is that kind of going to be part of it as well?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I think the thing I'm most excited about moving forward are the collaborations. Obviously, I'm excited about this upcoming project and the upcoming album, but I'm more excited to get it out there and start really diving into collabs. I've got a long list, and it keeps getting longer because I keep meeting really important musicians that help shape my philosophies. I think some of them are watching this right now.
It's kind of scary when you say it like that, but I hope they are in a non-intimidating way. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's the beautiful thing about music is it brings so much connection, and it's such an opportunity to meet people who are so special and radiate this powerful Shakti energy, where their self shows through, and of course Tony is watching. Of course, Tony is one of these beautiful musicians who, when he pours himself into it, it's so much of it, and so much to handle. But
he has been one of the most inspirational musicians in my life.
100%. Yeah. Tony was the guy who, when I was writing all these little random bits, he kind of stopped me one time and he said, "Do you want to be the guy who has 10 riffs, or do you want to write a song to completion?" And I was like, "All right, man." And so I wrote my first song after that, actually. So, but I guess the point I was getting to as well is for you, is there what do you do to manage it all? Like how do you find your creative flow when you have all these ideas and you're meeting these new people that they shake up your brain and it goes shooting in a million different places? How do you put the pieces back together and say, here's my next song? You know, like how does that work? Because I'm still figuring that out myself.
Yeah, I wish I could tell you.
You gotta give me something, man.
I don't think there's, you know, a strict line that you follow. I don't think there's rhyme or reason. I think there are mantras that help me in all areas of my life. And one of those is to approach everything with an open attitude and to let it evolve naturally, with the end goal in mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see that. So you're living in the moment and you're doing your best to take things as they come. When your brain gets scrambled, you say, oh, it's fun, it's scrambled. But there's this point, like a North Star, that you try to keep yourself at least somewhat keeping in the picture. You don't want to lose that, right? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And so for you, when a new song starts, does it just come to you? You know, like Paul McCartney talks about when he wrote Let It Be, he just dreamt it, you know, which is crazy. And when he wrote Yesterday, the whole song was done before he woke up from his dream. Like, you know, I don't know, like, what is it like for you? Does the song dawn on you and then you feel like as if you have to channel it? Is there, you know, what's the process a little bit?
I think the process is always changing for me. Sometimes, well, thinking back, you know, when I first started writing songs, and they were much obvious than the stuff I'm writing now. So I was able to channel energy into actually finishing a song, the writing aspect of it anyway, and finishing a song in, you know, a couple hours. Granted, it was not the best song in the world.
Right.
But now it's almost like weeks or months, sometimes even years, where I'll create an idea and it's just not ready yet. You know, I sort of like to think of when springtime starts to come and all the birds start coming out and the worms and the flowers start blooming, and then we get a massive snowstorm again.
Right.
And so then they have to just start all over again.
Interesting.
But they know the route, you know, they know the path to get back up there better than the ones who didn't start. I think that's music writing goes. It's just some peak up before their time is ready to blossom.
Interesting.
And instead of cutting them out, my way of watering them is sticking them in a folder and letting that folder go everywhere with me in my backpack.
Oh, wow. So you take the songs with you?
I'll even take them hiking with me sometimes. Yeah, just they live and breathe what I live and breathe. And I think that's an important part of me staying honest to my work, is it's not about pleasing anybody else. It's about my message and what the song represents. And part of that, and part of bringing that to life is being the song itself.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. I love that a lot, actually. It's crazy that you take the song with you everywhere that you go. I feel like that's unique, and I've never heard anybody talk to me about that. I like that a lot. That goes in your backpack in the folder. That's powerful stuff, man. That's really powerful. I love that. And I guess I wanted to ask you something too, because this is just always interesting to hear from different musicians, and I've never asked you about this, but where did your musical journey start, and when did it start?
Well, I think it depends on who you ask in my family. My parents say that it started basically from when I was a baby.
Okay.
I like to say, you know, I officially started taking piano lessons in first grade. And I took them all throughout high school and into college. So that's like 16, 17 years now that I've been playing piano almost every single day, probably. Um, more days than not.
Right, right, right. Certainly. And so when you say that your parents said it was almost since you were a baby, what is that based on? Like, did they just notice you responding to music at a really, really young age, or?
Responding to music at a young age, yeah. Both of my grandmas, so my dad's mom and my mom's mom, they both played piano.
Okay.
And when I would sit down at the piano as a little kid, as you know, an adult would sit me down with them,
Yeah.
say that I would finger the notes instead of just banging on it.
Okay. Yeah.
See, it wasn't beautiful music, but
But you were, even as a child, before you understood the instrument, you were still touching it with like almost a responsibility, it sounds like. Do you have like a really early memory of seeing a piano? Like, what was the earliest memory that you have? Would it be sitting at one with one of your grandmothers then?
I've never been asked that question before.
Well, it's weird to scrape that far back in your mind, but it's there
I,
somewhere. There's.
I think my earliest memory with music actually stems from the drums.
Oh, really?
And when I was probably 2, my parents got me a little toy drum set.
Uh-huh.
Just the really chintzy, cheap, little tiny toy drum set.
Yeah.
But there's there's a picture of me sitting behind it, just butt naked. Uh, and nobody knew that I did that. They just walked in my room one day and I was playing drums naked.
Still are to this day.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man. I will say there's something really bizarrely freeing about playing music when you're naked. You're raw to all the elements,
Mm-hmm.
A gust of breeze, from the wind can very strongly influence your playing.
Oh yeah. make you clench up real quick.
Yeah, a little more staccato for a minute. But that's crazy. And you are a phenomenal drummer, man. Like, I love hearing you play the drums, and I love the couple of chances we've had to play, with me playing guitar and the drums behind it. I remember, like, especially because Tony's watching, like the first like Golden Soul show or whatever. I remember I played acoustic guitar and you were playing drums with them at the moment. Yeah. So
I will say I think each chapter of my music journey has its own earliest memory.
wow, yeah,
or its own, inciting moment of
right,
this is a pivotal moment in this process.
yeah.
And that first Golden Soul show is one of those moments where
Oh,
that helped me launch into this version of where I am today.
yeah,
And I had no idea, what would come from playing that show. But a lot of good relationships did, and a lot of lessons learned came from it, and a lot of experience. And just, that was a really fun night too, after
right,
the show.
right, yeah. After the show is the greatest high because you've just
Yes.
been to the peak of this wonderful mountain, and you've maybe even climbed to a point in it that you didn't even know you could reach. Oftentimes I do at live performances, and it just kind of opens your eyes up, and you're like, oh wow. I'm in awe at the fact that not to sound egocentric, but that I did this, with a
Mm-hmm.
collective of people, and I couldn't have done it without them. And holy shit, we became one person, and I closed my eyes and I saw God for a minute or something, and it's like,
Yep.
yeah. So after the show is always the greatest high. It really is. And before it is like, the anxiety climbs, it's a very strange process performing, but I miss it a lot,
I miss it a lot too. I'm thankful I have a job that allows me to perform in some capacity.
Right.
So much performing as it is, leading, but I am thankful that it has helped me continue to taste a little bit of that life that is not happening right now, but is going to come back very, very strong.
Yeah, I think that the resurgence is going to be powerful. The one thing that bums me out a little bit is thinking about all the venues that have closed. that just unfortunately won't come back. And it's sad, because a lot of those places are like little pillars to the community.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of venues that I have so much fond memories of meeting, early collaborators at and stuff like that. So, but the resurgence will be strong and powerful, and hopefully those people will find their way into the community again. Hopefully even reopen, and all that beautiful stuff. And we get little almost like a little microcosm of the same feeling. Even just doing something like this where we're doing a live interview and we know that the people are watching and responding to it and understanding more of the creative process. That's a beautiful thing. We still get to do that. Anytime I do the live streams, I still get anxious before and I still have a high after. So it's, it's about counting our blessings. We're only here for so long, and the music is such a gift. The music is such a gift.
It is. It is. Yeah. It's our responsibility to continue to pass that gift on to not even our generation, but the next generation.
Yeah.
Our generation is going to do a lot to help bring back the live scene, but it's really going to depend on the generation younger than us to keep that going. And that's why I'm such an adamant advocate for lessons and for teaching. It's one of the most humbling yet just really spiritually basic things you can do as a musician. Yeah,
and in life in general too, right? Imparting knowledge to each other and sharing that, especially with someone younger who could use it. It's such a beautiful thing, and I'm so thankful for all the teachers I've had in my life in all regards. People who don't even know they were teachers to me, even just some of the random people I've met for maybe only 30 minutes, never saw them again. They were a teacher. And yeah, I totally agree. It's one of the, like you said, most basic things you can do as a human is to say, I know how to do this, you do this, but you're really bringing more into someone's world than you could ever know when you do that. So, so music education is important. It's really important.
I think you're bringing, right. I think you're bringing somebody into that world, but I think you're bringing somebody more into the world of just, being a human with other humans. I can't think of anything more human than passing on knowledge. I mean, that is one of the most distinguishable traits about our species, is we have this collection of knowledge that we continue to build upon and expand, and that knowledge helps us figure out even new knowledge. And I guess with this song, if I have one hope, I hope that this song helps contribute to that cycle of knowledge, and helps bring people more into their humanity.
I love that. I love that a lot, man. Thank you for doing that. And, really everything that you're doing with the music, it feels really heartwarming. And it feels like, it's bringing me closer to you, even though we haven't been able to see each other for a while, man.
It's probably been a couple of years.
I think so. Sadly, I don't want to count on any. Probably 2 or something like that. I don't want to think about it, man.
No.
But, yeah. Bad topic. It's a sore spot.
Yeah.
So hopefully we rectify that soon, man. And
yes, I think that can definitely happen.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm planting my own seeds right now, so hopefully good things in the future, and everything. And I look forward to us crossing streams musically in a more complete way, hopefully soon. I'd love to have you on some of my songs, and I'd love any time to play on your music for whatever you needed. It would just be fantastic, man. That would be so good.
Well, like I said, I got that album coming up. I can't do it all.
Right. Yeah. Well, you can do it all.
I can't. I don't want to do it all. I think it would be better if other people were on it.
Yeah. Well, the spirit of the collaboration, right? it wasn't just one caveman banging a couple racks together. The other guy grabbed the sticks and started doing his thing. You know?
he's like, oh, that looks like fun.
Yeah, right. So it's got to start somewhere, man. And you know, is there anything else you want to talk about or like kind of plug or shout out before we kind of close things up? You know.
I just want to thank anybody watching this right now. Thank anybody who has streamed Social Robots or who has shared it, or even those who said, fuck that, I'm not going to listen to that. Thank you in a weird way, because at least I know that somebody interacted with the song. Maybe not in the way I wanted them to, but I'm just really grateful for the love and support that's been coming back to me. And I just hope that I can continue to be an artist and a musician that gives that love back to those giving it to me. Absolutely, brother. I love it. And I just want to say to everybody watching, you know, the things that you can do to help Johnny are obviously stream the song. When you like the song on Spotify, it's going to help him out algorithmically. So please do that for Johnny. Add the song to playlists, even if it's just your own playlist for your music that you listen to. That's also going to help you algorithmically, Johnny. So, like, you know, y'all watching this, please help out Johnny. Help get the song out there, because I know from personal experience, it's really tough pushing music right now. It's tough getting the streams. And, you know, when you work really hard at something, you want the message to go as far as it can. So, you know, add Social Robots to playlists. You know, like it, share it. All these things are interactions that Spotify is keeping track of, and is, you know, all the platforms really, you know, this helps. So yeah. And I want to thank you, Johnny, for joining me, man. You know, this is my first attempt at doing this, and I'm really excited, looking forward to it. Well, we did good, man. I'm proud of us. I'm always proud of you, my brother. And I want to say too that next week, I'm going to have Tony's band Schemes on, and we're going to do an interview. It's going to be fucking awesome. I'm really excited to pick their brains about their music and just dig into more stuff. So, yeah. Yes. It was awesome. Anybody who's here for me, come back next week, because Tony Baeza, that's Tony Baeza, and his band Schemes will be here, and they are truly one of the biggest powerhouses coming up, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited for what comes for them. There's so much that they can do, and I'm really excited for all of it. So, So thank you, Johnny. I love you, brother. We're gonna do it again soon. You know, next time you release a single, hop right back on here. We'll do another interview. Support and love for Johnny and his music and his art. Thank you. So,
yes, thank you, Noah.
Peace.
It is not the habit which addicts me, but rather the enveloping feeling of escape. It digs its fangs into my brain, slowly spreading its roots, hooking me eternally.
Shackles on all our lives, not on our wrists, but on our minds. Tiny little screens with big fat eyes of light. Oh, don't you think, yeah, don't you mind? Just keep on scrolling, you'll be alright. Distractions, I see them in every way. They tell us the right thoughts to think and the words to say. nobody ever goes outside to play. No, don't you think? Yeah, don't you pray? Just pretend like it's still a beautiful day. Tell me no, we'll see about that. Kick me down, I'm wiser if I don't fight back. Oh, I'll learn from you and be better off. You may laugh or scoff, but just go jerk off. You robot, you sad motherfucker. The crutches we lean on everywhere, they help us breathe in all this polluted air. They help us choose our favorite style of hair. Oh, don't you think? Yeah, don't you care? Just be a copy and no one stares. Voices we seek out for advice, we're taking all their bullshit as something that's wise. But nobody is ever thinking twice. So don't you blink, just take your advice. Just play your part, you'll be alright. Robots looking for something that's real. They're all trying to think out what to feel. And kisses help, so do hugs, and not to mention all the drugs. But we're all robots, we're all tied up in the same cords from our own plugs. We're all robots, we're all sad motherfuckers.